Hello, this is CrispinGlover.com, and this is my co-director of It Is Fine, Everything Is Fine, David Brothers, and you're watching indieWIRE on the scene in Park City. There we are.
This is Brian Brooks coming to you from a very warm day here in Park City, Utah, outside the Holiday Village Cinemas with today's indieWIRE on the Scene. Coming up, we'll have our on-the-street interviews, our review of The Protagonist, the Dowd talks some biz, we'll have our latest in iPop, and now let's go to our interview with Crispin Glover.
Ultimately, the idea for It Is Fine, Everything Is Fine, and the whole mindset of the film comes from Stephen C. Stewart, who is a man with a severe case of cerebral palsy. There are autobiographical elements that really on some level were naively put in, and David and I really wanted to make sure that we kept the true naive spirit. Really what it is my reaction to my psychological reaction to a corporately controlled cinema in the last 25 and 30 years has really made it so that any element that can possibly make an audience member uncomfortable in any way whatsoever will necessarily be excised, or that film won't be funded or distributed. And I think it's extremely damaging because that very moment when an audience member sits back in their chair, looks up at the screen and thinks to themselves, is this right, what I'm watching? Is this wrong? Is it right that I'm here? What is it that I'm watching? And they it's that moment where they're having a genuinely educational experience because they're actually asking questions, they're thinking about things. And to have anything that can possibly make an audience uncomfortable, or another word for that would be taboo, excised completely from the most important form of communication in the culture is and ubiquitously basically at this point in time is extremely damaging. It's a de-education for the culture, and it ends up stupefying the culture, and you can see the evidence of it every day.
I'm from New York. I covered hip-hop in my career as a writer. So you hear all this about all the white kids who like hip-hop. Well, I was at a hip-hop show with nothing but white skateboard kids. And hip-hop, and I was like, oh, this is cultural.
I mean, the big thing is that we really got this unbelievable rave review in Variety, and I almost fainted. So, you know, I don't know. You can't go up from here, so I don't know what's going to happen now, you know.
Well, I think the first screening of my film Ezra, was so emotional because for me it was a culmination of, it was the first time I saw the combined print, and also first time I saw it with an audience, and so it's like a culmination of all this, like an emotional explosion within me and it's inside of myself.
This film played here 21 years ago and is being preserved, so it's back, and so seeing it again for the first time with an audience, you know, after 20 years. Was pretty amazing. Though they treated it with a little bit too much reverence. You know, it's like if it's over 20 years old, it's a classic. So they were polite, but I expected them to kind of rock out a little bit.
We're wasted, whatever. We're like, oh, let's go to a hot tub. It's like 3, 4 in the morning, which is a weird concept. It's outside. It's like freezing. My hair's frozen, and I'm like, I'm hot. So we're hanging out. It's smoky. Steam's coming out, and then all of a sudden, there's this orb that comes flying through the mist, and it's the light off of a camera, and it's this guy Xavier from the Moby Opera, who's from France, and he's like, the Seahorse Nation, they must rejuvenate in the hot water. And we're like, what? And he's like videotaping us, and it's in the Moby Opera, and it's like, oh my God, this is great, you know. And he's like totally freaking us out. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. He just like came up on our hot tub out of nowhere. It's like this alien from France. It was amazing.
The means of distribution over the next 2, 5, 10 years are going to change beyond even our imagination once again. Who would imagine the iPod, okay? Who would imagine what happened before the iPod with the record industry? The same thing's happening here, okay? The important thing, and the single important thing, is now is the time for filmmakers to do nothing but great films. It's the time. That's everything we're working on in my company, and everybody should make great films, not good films anymore. Do everything you can, because the great films, if you build it, they will come. And so the films that fall by the wayside here, they're not quite great enough yet. But the good news is there's a support system from indieWIRE to film festivals to exhibition to the internet to DVD companies to divisions of studios that's bigger and better funded than ever. The bridge is being built. The filmmakers just have to, you know, have something special enough to go across that bridge, and it will work.
I'm Anthony Kaufman, and I'll be reviewing Protagonist, a film playing in the documentary competition here at Sundance, directed by Jessica Yu. Yu is an Oscar winner, and she was presented with a topic to make a film about the Greek playwright Euripides. Rather than tell a conventional story about Euripides, she decided to string 4 stories of men together whose lives reveal kind of dramatic elements of Euripides theater. There is a bank robber, a gay minister, a German terrorist, and a martial arts kind of fanatic. Some of the stories are funny, some of the stories are serious, and they all reveal this kind of pattern of theater. She illustrates these patterns through puppets, which work enough, although some people may find them a little pretentious. Well, the film reveals some interesting commonalities between the 4 men, such as issues of masculinity and relationships with their fathers. I almost feel like the documentary might have needed more than 4 people, maybe hundreds, to convey the kind of universal themes that she's trying to address. It's interesting, but I'm just not sure if it entirely succeeds.
The dude abides, and let's all make some great films and make the planet a place we want to wake up to every morning and not fear our morning paper.
indieWIRE on the Scene in Park City is sponsored by Fox Searchlight.
This year, only one picture is an absolute winner. 5 stars. Little Miss Sunshine is a piece of celluloid heaven that proves movie miracles do happen.
Far out.
So stand up and show your support.
All right!
For the little best picture of the year.
Outstanding, soldier, outstanding!
Little Miss Sunshine.